Imagine a young man sitting alone in a coffee shop at 2 a.m. His laptop is open to a 3D modelling program. Next to it is a sketchbook filled with mechanical diagrams, human anatomy studies, and strange flying machines. He's not studying for a class, no one assigned this work, he's just curious. If Leonardo da Vinci were born in the modern world, this is exactly where he might be. At 20 years old, he wouldn't be famous yet. But the habits that once produced one of the greatest minds in history would already be taking shape. Before imagining his life today, we need to understand the real Leonardo. The historical Leonardo was defined by 3 traits: relentless curiosity, obsessive observation, and a refusal to stay inside one discipline. Leonardo wasn't just a painter. He studied anatomy by dissecting corpses. He designed flying machines centuries before aviation existed. He filled thousands of notebook pages with diagrams of engineering, optics, hydrodynamics, and architecture. He once wrote, "Learning never exhausts the mind." This insatiable curiosity is the key to imagining his life in the modern world. Because wherever Leonardo lived, and whenever he lived, he would still be asking the same question: how does everything work? Leonardo's real childhood was unusual. He was born in 1452 in the small Italian town of Vinci as the illegitimate son of a notary. Because he was not expected to follow a traditional academic career, he had freedom to explore and observe nature. He spent much of his youth studying plants, water, animals, and the movement of the human body. In the modern world, that freedom would likely translate into a childhood full of experimentation. Leonardo might be the kid who constantly takes things apart: old electronics, bicycles, broken appliances, not because he needs to fix them, but because he wants to understand them. Teachers might notice something unusual early on. Leonardo wouldn't just complete assignments. He'd go far beyond them. If a science project required building a simple machine, Leonardo might build 5, and then redesign them. Fast forward to today. Leonardo is 20 years old. He's probably enrolled in a university, or possibly bouncing between several fields. But even if he is technically a student, that's not where most of his learning happens. Leonardo historically preferred self-directed exploration. His famous notebooks show that he constantly pursued ideas outside any formal curriculum. So in the modern world, his real education would likely happen in late-night research sessions, sketchbooks full of ideas, side projects. His room might look chaotic: whiteboards covered with diagrams, 3D printed prototypes, mechanical sketches taped to the wall, half-finished inventions on his desk. Leonardo's real notebooks reveal that he had unusual habits. He often slept very little and worked in intense bursts of curiosity. A modern Leonardo might have a day that looks something like this. Morning might begin with classes or work, but what really interests him begins afterward. In the afternoon, he might spend hours sketching mechanical designs. Leonardo historically believed that drawing was the best way to understand the world. He once wrote, "The painter who draws by practice and judgment of the eye without the use of reason is like a mirror." Drawing was how he studied everything, from muscles to machines. Today, that might translate into digital illustration tablets or CAD software. Instead of ink and parchment, he might use 3D modeling software, engineering simulation tools, digital sketching. But the purpose would remain the same: to observe and understand reality through drawing. Leonardo famously refused to limit himself to a single field. His notebooks include studies of anatomy, engineering, botany, physics, architecture, flight. In the modern world, that same curiosity might lead him toward fields like mechanical engineering, biotechnology, robotics, aerospace design, artificial intelligence. But Leonardo would probably never stay in just one. He might attend lectures in engineering, then spend the evening watching anatomy videos, then spend the night designing drones. Because historically, Leonardo believed all knowledge was connected. One of Leonardo's greatest habits was his intense observation of the world. He would spend hours studying the flow of water or the structure of muscles. He once filled pages simply analysing how birds flap their wings. Today, that same habit might appear as a fascination with biomechanics to drone flight, fluid dynamics, human movement. Leonardo might spend hours recording slow-motion videos of birds or athletes, not for entertainment, but to study motion, just as he did 500 years ago. At 20, Leonardo would probably not yet be famous. In fact, historically, he wasn't either. Leonardo spent years as an apprentice under the artist Andrea del Verrocchio. During this time, he was learning techniques and developing skills. In the modern world, this apprenticeship might look like an internship at a design lab, working in a robotics workshop, helping a startup build prototypes, or possibly freelancing as a designer or illustrator while experimenting with inventions. The key is that Leonardo historically thrived in environments where art and engineering overlapped, so he might be drawn toward places like product design studios, innovation labs, tech startups, anywhere ideas can turn into physical creations. But Leonardo also had weaknesses. Historically, he was notorious for starting projects and never finishing them. His notebooks show thousands of ideas, but many were never completed. Today, this might manifest as a constant battle with focus. Leonardo might begin designing a robot, then suddenly become fascinated by neural networks, then shift to studying anatomy again. His mind would move faster than his ability to complete projects. Teachers might describe him as brilliant but scattered. Employers might struggle with his perfectionism, because Leonardo often refused to finish work until it matched his vision. At 20, Leonardo might not yet know exactly what he wants to become. Historically, he didn't either, but his writings show a clear desire to understand nature deeply. He believed nature operated according to mathematical laws and hidden patterns. Today, that same motivation might push him towards solving complex interdisciplinary problems, perhaps designing new forms of flight, perhaps building medical technology inspired by anatomy, perhaps inventing machines inspired by biological systems. If these habits continue, where does Leonardo end up? By his early 30s, the trajectory becomes clearer. Leonardo might become one of those rare individuals who bridges multiple fields, a designer who understands engineering, an engineer who understands biology, a scientist who thinks like an artist. Historically, this interdisciplinary thinking made Leonardo revolutionary. In the modern world, it could place him in environments like advanced robotics labs, aerospace design teams, biomedical innovation groups, or even founding his own experimental research studio. Because Leonardo never just studied ideas, he wanted to build them, perhaps developing robotics influenced by human movement. This might sound extraordinary, but it is exactly what the real Leonardo did. He was centuries ahead of his time not because he lived in the Renaissance, but because he refused to think inside one discipline. Leonardo da Vinci did not begin life as a legend. He began as a curious observer, a young man asking endless questions about the world. If he were alive today, the technology around him would be very different. But the habits that made him great would look surprisingly familiar. Endless curiosity, obsessive observation, and the belief that knowledge in one field could unlock discoveries in another. At 20 years old, Leonardo wouldn't yet be famous, but somewhere, probably late at night, he'd still be sketching ideas in a notebook, trying to understand how the world works, and unknowingly laying the foundation for greatness.